And welcome back, everyone. So Deku versus Miles debuted today. And look, I'm not gonna lie, this is a pretty far better than both of their previous fights. And now I like Miles versus Static. It's a good fight, but I mean well, how do they put it? It's not that little puppet animation model they have on them. Like that does look a little off at points. And I like the fact too, this was pretty much a 3D fight. So there's that. And Deku versus Asta. I'm not a huge fan of that one, to be honest. Not that it's bad. Just first off, I thought Deku should have won that personally, but whatever. But now we got this, and we're just starting. I'm just gonna, like I said, I got this playing over here, so it's fine. And luckily I can see it literally playing right on the screen here, so that's great. But it's also lagging a little bit. That's why I got the volume on. That's why I don't do reactions anymore. But yeah, I love the fact that it starts off like a comic book, like straight up. I love this comic, and yeah, it's loading a little bit, so give it a little bit. I love the comic book panels of this. It's actually pretty cool. So that's a good way to start it. And then by the way, I don't know who he was chasing, Deku in that, but then we get the Miles. Now, if I remember correctly, and I could be wrong about this is a little bit of a blend of the video game models for Deku. I don't know. The Spider-Man model might be a little bit more custom, or it might be kind of taken from the Insomniac versions of Spider-Man. But yeah, I do like the way these models look. Now there are points in this fight that the movements look maybe a little too slow, but I actually think there's a legit reason for that. I like the fact too that it's kind of more like a Superman and Goku situation from the most recent version, where they're like, all right, let's just see who we are. Let's go out at our strongest. Granted, I did see a comment that says like, oh yeah, let's have a friendly spar. And then of course now we're getting damn ads. Hey, how Josh Hartman went viral and built his brand with drumsticks and everyday objects. But yeah, and he starts out by throwing gusts of wind. Now, that looks weird initially, but you have to remember that I had to remember during the fights, like, no, he's using float. Float doesn't let you fly. Float literally means you can float. He flies using, and he explained it obviously in the breakdown, just with wind gusts combined with float. So the fact that he's there floating is kind of funny. I do like the fact that the vibranium takes in the hit. I love these tracking shots too. These look great. Deku gets caught in the webbing. I do like the inner monologues. Like I can't go all out right now. He charges up his black whip, gets hit in the face with it, but cracks the web shooter. Because Deku is very tactical. I like that. And just gets blasted. Deku just uses his own webbing, and then oh mierda. I did like the very Miles thing, and just this I dig that a lot. Like again, it just feels really good. Like comic book. Love the model on Deku. Miles grew on me as the fight went on. I like the fact he's literally slicing a building in half and just basically throws it at him. And then you get the Spider-Verse kind of like woo going through the building. Like all this looks great. And here's the thing. Especially when you see the breakdown later, neither of these guys had a super clear advantage over the other, except when it came to Deku and just raw strength. Like apart from that, and speed, yeah, he could clearly get into the light speed with gear shift. But other than that, though, even though they certainly gave Deku the edge in a few things, they're actually a lot more balanced out in many other ways. And there's gear shift, and he's activating his Spire form, super form, which is good. Love that shot. Got to go back up to that shot real quick. First off, love the callback. Great. But and of course, whenever you're doing these death battles, they're fan service. So yeah, it's gotta have some callbacks in there. But oh, that is such a great shot. That is fantastic. Like you could have a poster of this and literally just do it either way. That looks so good. And I like now when we go into this version of Miles, he looks great. Oh, he actually looks really good. And I admit, Miles has gained abilities that I was not aware of over time. I do like the callback to his suit's it's absorption, not nullification. So that means there's a limit to what it can take. I love the callback to I think it was right around here he said that. So I don't know what he can take. I love that callback to All Might, although All Might said it better. He's like, there's a limit to what he can take, right? Still, I love it. I dig, and that shot right there is so good on Deku. It looks so good. Like this fight is really well done. It's just go beyond plus ultra, and just boom. And then you get kind of like it's not the one punch man thing because that was when he fought Overhaul, but still that reference. And then it's just overloading his suit and basically just exploding with kinetic energy. Now I will admit, when we saw the look on Deku's face too here, and just great little explosion with the webbing, I was wondering if he was actually going to end up dying from it. But no, he gets up, and you were the ultimate. Like that was just, that was just a really damn good fight. So when they broke down the categories here, let's see here. Where do we have the listing here? Yeah, the vibranium. Okay, where was the? Okay. By the way, so this is one of those things where okay, so yeah, they had superpower, speed, skill, and strength. So they said it was pretty much even with the superpower. Speed they gave to Deku because of the gear shift. Skill though they actually edged out with Miles, and the strength they obviously gave to Deku. Which means because they were roughly even with just differing factors with their skills. Again, very few of us, I think, were arguing against Deku in terms of raw strength. Although there were people in the comments when I did the prediction video talking about how he was I think it was like the herald or the totem or whatever for the spider god Anansi, which, okay, great. Like, I didn't know anything about that personally in context to the the con. Like, it's been a while since I've been more up to date with comics, but yeah. Now, okay, here he was the herald, yeah. And they did bring it up, and I did want to bring this up to the people who were like, no, he's the herald of, it's like, as explained, while Miles is the herald of the spider god Anansi, Anansi is largely a supportive mentor rather than a direct combatant in Miles' behalf. However, Miles' status as a herald could theoretically grant him spiritual protection from being attacked by one of Faral's vestiges. See, the problem here is that I feel like people hear herald, and unless they miss something in Deathbattle, which is very possible, they do. Like I said, their record's not perfect with me, but I feel like people are just like, oh, he's a herald. That means he should have like enhanced physicality and strength and stuff. Like, well, that's not necessarily what that means. Depends who you're a herald of. And Anansi is not one of those gods who, even in lore, is not like a supreme like deity of justice, power, or whatever. He's a story god. He's a trickster kind of. So it makes sense. And yeah, spiritual protection from the vestiges sure made sense. And the venom, while the venom is effective against genetic mutants. By the way, guys, like, I get it, argument, but I sometimes feel like we get into really like nerd, pick your side culture. Not even feel. I know we do that. So it's like, oh, he just gives Deku a heart attack. Okay, that's not a death battle, and you know it. And second of all, Deku survived far worse. He would not be dropped dead from a heart attack from Miles. That's not how that fight's gonna end. So, like, no. And they said he was resistant and all that. So, yeah, I honestly had no problem with the explanation, A, because my guy won. But I've also had no problem with the explanation of why my guy loses either, as long as it's explained well. Like, I had a problem. I always go to this one. The Madara versus Aizen fight. That's my textbook of where I have a problem with their research and explanations. Fair. But maybe like 80% of the time, I don't have a problem. If my guy wins, sure. Usually I won't have a problem. But on rare occasions, there have been scenarios where my guy has won where I've actually not agreed with their rationale. I think maybe it was Ben 10 versus Green Lantern where that was one of those scenarios. But anyway, either way though, banger fight, honestly. Great fight. I mean, we had Tom and Jerry last week. We've had, I think, Doom Guy versus Master Chief was really damn good. Honestly, for this whole, let's call it season, for their return, I'm struggling to think of a truly bad fight apart from Kratos versus Asura, which could have been so cool and awesome, and it just wasn't. Like, that was a really just lackluster fight. But otherwise, these guys, they're going off on they're still firing off on all cylinders. That was the phrase I'm looking for. Now, next time on Deathbattle, you will not get a prediction video because I have done my prediction video on this one already. Because next time on Deathbattle, we're getting Godzilla versus Hulk. And I've already done my prediction on that. Now, I might have to revisit that video to see what my prediction was, but because it's been a while. But yeah, I've done my prediction on that. And again, I always reserve my judgment because that's what we do. We have our prediction, then we hear how they break it down the fight, and then we give our final thoughts. So, and then yeah, obviously we had Simone and Kyle, which was also a banger fight. So yeah, I mean, this return for Deathbattle has been really damn good so far. One not so good episode out of the God knows how many. Like, actually, why don't I just go straight to the videos, just see how many videos I'm on the channel. Let's just see how many they've done so far and just get my overall take here so far. New Deathbattle. Okay, yeah, Deathbattle. We want this one. So let's see here. Come on, load the video. Nope. Load up. There we go. The video. I need some music. Give me some more. Okay. So we started with Goku on Bardock versus Omni-Man. Good fight. Not like the best fight, but a good fight. Still think Bardock should have won that, but that's one of those things where even if I didn't agree with the outcome, I still like the fight and all that. Joker versus Giorno, actually kind of underrated, even if it was pixelated. I did like it quite a bit. And there's some animation there. Eggman versus Bowser, freaking peak. Among Us versus Fall Guys is actually a lot better than I think it has any right to be. Kratos versus Asura is probably the one episode that's just legitimately not a very good episode. It looks good and like that super awesome, like that still look good, but it's just no. Ghost Rider versus Spawn, pretty decent, pretty solid fight. Stringer Rocky versus Mahito, that was a good fight. Master Chief versus Doomslayer, good fight. Simone versus Kyle, close to peak. Wile E. Coyote versus Tomcat, damn good. And now Spider-Man versus Deku. I mean, I wouldn't say that this is a peak fight, but it's a damn good fight. Damn good fight. That's my thoughts, though. What did you think of the fight? And what do you think who's going to win in the next one? My prediction video is already up, so you can give your thoughts on that. You just type in Godzilla versus Hulk Deathbattle predictions, find Clockwork Highlander, and you can find my thoughts on it, and then give yours. And then, yeah. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. See you next time.